We are running through the top 5 stories at Comicbook.com at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. on Tatooine for Comic Book Now. What's up, Comic Book Nation? Welcome to Comic Book Now. I'm your host, Brandon Davis. Please call me BD. Joined today, it's Tuesday. Lucas is back. Lucas Siegel.
What's happening? And what's up to Amber Gabriel? This is your shout out.
Amber, what's up, girl? Thanks for watching. Lucas, tell them what you're doing all show long.
I am checking out the comments right here for your questions, so please keep them coming, keep the comments coming, and at the end of the show, we will get to a little Q&A.
That's right. And before that, we have a very big show. We've got some really cool stuff, including a live Skype interview with Katrina Law. You know her as Nissa Al Ghul on Arrow. You're going to know her as Rebecca Lee on Trading Day. She is joining us via Skype, so don't miss that. Stay tuned. But let's get to the news first. You know the drill. The first story of the night. Fox has ordered a pilot from the still untitled X-Men Universe television project, meaning the X-Men are definitely headed to television. The pilot will follow 2 human parents and their mutant child who are forced to go on the run from the government and end up joining an underground mutant network. Lauren Schuler, Donner, Bryan Singer, Simon Kinberg, Jeff Loeb, and Jim Chory will executive produce the pilot, but there's no word on when to expect a premiere just yet. They say Hugh Jackman is done with Wolverine movies. Might he head to TV? Wishful thinking. This is the second live-action X-Men series to head to TV following Legion, which debuts on FX February 8th. Sticking with TV, how about an exclusive clip from the next episode of The Flash? ComicBook.com has it for you.
Behold.
Whoa, you did all this?
Yeah, well, I don't want to take all the credit. I'm too modest to do that, but yeah.
Who exactly is paying for all this?
It's a great question. Olga, allow me to introduce you to your new co-workers. Everybody, this is Olga.
Hi.
She doesn't really speak English so much, but she's great. So right over here, we have the ticketing and the admissions. Over there are specialty coffees. Oh, that reminds me, Caitlin. Initially, I had you targeted for ticketing, but it occurs to me with a few lessons in film art, you could very well man up, women up our cappuccino stand. What do you think?
HR, I think Caitlin's gonna have plenty to do, as it is.
Can I ask you a question? Do you want to eat pizza pockets for every meal for the rest of your life? You don't. Nobody wants that. What you want is an income, and we, collectively, need a cover for Star Labs for our continued operation.
He makes some good points.
Now, for the pièce de résistance.
Welcome to Star Labs.
I'm sorry, did you make a hologram of me?
Well, Francesco, you made it perfectly clear you didn't want to be a tour guide. You're not. You're a virtual tour guide.
Guess what? That falls under the umbrella of not wanting to be a tour guide.
On we go.
My name is Francisco. I wasn't always the esteemed engineer you see before you. It was my love of science that allowed me to overcome my tough upbringing and join Star Labs before our beautiful and handsome founder Harrison Wells stepped down. I hope my love of science will inspire some among you to join the scientific community.
Wow.
Thanks.
Here's the thing, I don't sound anything like that.
My love of science, my love of science, my love of
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to take a look at that.
I can't do that, because I have important things to do, so.
So,
Yeah.
I gotta run an errand. See you later.
where are you going?
The Flash returns with an all-new episode tonight at 8/7 Central on the CW.
The Flash returns tonight, which is very exciting, which is very soon. The release of Star Wars Episode 8, not so soon, still very exciting. We just learned the title yesterday. It's going to be The Last Jedi. Just so happens Lucas here beside me is our ComicBook.com Star Wars expert, insider, knows all things, and he's about to fill you in. Lucas, you weren't on the show yesterday. It was Charlie. It was a bad day for you to not be here, but it was Monday. But in any case, Star Wars The Last Jedi, we got the title. You were freaking out. Tell us what we need to know.
Yeah, it's a really exciting title. It's an interesting title because it can refer to one person, it could refer to many people. Jedi is the plural of Jedi,
Right.
So there's a lot to unpack out of 3 tiny little words.
So we have the question of who is the Last Jedi or who are the Last Jedi.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, there's nothing that says it couldn't mean 2 different individuals throughout the course of the film. You know, a lot of people say
one
return.
thing. There
What's
is
that?
one hint. It
What's
was in
that?
the opening crawl of episode 7.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
said The Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker.
So this is actually the only title that has come directly out of dialogue. So we saw it both in the opening credits, the opening crawl of Star Wars The Force Awakens, and also we saw it or heard it when Snoke said that the Resistance will find the Last Jedi, Skywalker. And that might even give us a hint into what Episode 9 could be titled, because his next line is, if they find Skywalker, the new Jedi will rise. So maybe we'll see something about the rise of the Jedi for Episode 9. That's just speculation.
All right. Is there anything else that you have? Any theories? Anything else?
Yeah. The other thing that we looked at was the red logo. So obviously they put it out there with that red logo for the very first time, showing that the
but
title.
This isn't the first red
and
logo.
The red logo is typically reserved for the last movie in a trilogy.
Right.
And it's always meant death, and it's always meant somebody switching sides.
I'm going to tell you this. If Kylo Ren turns to the light, I'm going to get up and walk out of the theater. Episode 7, I've never been more mad at a character in my life.
We'll
if
see.
he turns good, or if Rey goes bad, both of those, I'll be out.
Or if
I'm
Luke
done.
dies.
Nah, Luke could die before. I'll be less angry if Luke died than if Rey went to the dark side or Kylo Ren went to the light. Although Luke dying would be a tough pill to swallow. We have a ton of theories. Sorry to cut short. You're the expert. I'm just a fan at this point.
I could see Leia actually switching to the dark side, which would be a very interesting twist.
My gosh,
and
imagine
now
that.
A very difficult thing for people to deal with. So we'll see.
Yeah, that would be pretty wild. All right, guys, we do have a ton of Star Wars content written by Lucas. He took a really deep dive into this on ComicBook.com yesterday. So go to ComicBook.com/Star Wars just to filter out everything, just to the Star Wars stuff, if you want to take a deep dive yourself into that content. But we're going to get back to the news. Alien 5, which is technically Alien 7 if you count Prometheus and Alien Covenant, or 9 if you count Alien vs. Predators, pair of movies, but we don't. So we're still talking about Alien 5, which Neil Blomkamp said he was going to direct once upon a time. Nowadays, the chances of that movie actually getting made are, quote, slim, according to Blomkamp. That's not to say the franchise is dead, though, as Alien Covenant is likely launching or at least continuing a new series of films, which started with Prometheus in the same universe. So, Alien fans, bittersweet news there. Next up, something very exciting for The Walking Dead fans if you love Cruise's fun and all that good stuff. Not only is one of Negan's victims rumored to be coming back in Season 7, more on that on comicbook.com/The Walking Dead, major spoiler, but we are giving away a room on the Walker Stalker cruise, which sails from Miami to the Bahamas on February 3rd. All you have to do is to set sail with the cast and crew of The Walking Dead is send us a video 10 seconds or less, holding your phone in landscape mode, widescreen people, doing your best impression of Negan. Be funny, be creative, use a face swap. Just don't bash any skulls, please. Then go to comicbook.com/page/submissions to send us your entries. It's that easy. I thought we had the best giveaway of all time with that Logan giveaway last week. This is pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. That's Adventure on the High Seas with some
Negan
people.
and Daryl and Greg Nicotero and Chandler Riggs. That's pretty cool stuff.
Hopefully no zombies. A zombie apocalypse starting while you're on a cruise on the cruise ship would be awful.
So basically you're in an episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 2.
I said it would be awful.
Right. Oh, he went there. Season 2 ended really well.
Season 2 was
You didn't even
a lot more
watch
fun.
it. Don't lie to the people. I loved Fear the Walking Dead's ending of Season 2. But yeah, anyway, coming right up, guys, we have a really cool chat coming up. Katrina Law is joining us on Skype. But first, a lot of you asked for this in our comment section. We do a cheat sheet. It's where we give you all the information you need to know about a Marvel character, a DC character. Heck, it could even be a WWE superstar. Let us know who you want to see next. Right now, we're doing Nova's cheat sheet, and then we're coming back to a live interview with Katrina Law of Arrow. Check this out, guys.
The original Nova. Richard Rider is a superhero in the Marvel Universe, and most well known as the Prime Commander of the Nova Corps. His powers are a result of the Nova Force, an energy source that he alone can access. This puts him on par with the most powerful beings in the galaxy, and here's everything you should know about the human rocket. Initially, Nova was conceived as an homage to both Spider-Man and Green Lantern. Like Spider-Man, Nova received his powers as a teenager in New York completely by accident. The rest of his biography, however, closely resembles that of DC's Hal Jordan. Ryder was chosen at random by a dying alien named Roman Day in a last-ditch effort to transfer his powers. Also like Hal Jordan, Nova is usually depicted as the leader of the intergalactic police force called the Nova Corps. Originally, Nova was known for his witty banter during battle, similar to Spider-Man. However, after Annihilation, his personality became noticeably darker. After serving as protector of Xandar, Nova eventually became homesick and relinquished his power, returning to Earth to live a normal life. His powers returned to him, however, after Night Thrasher convinced him to join the New Warriors by using reverse psychology and throwing Ryder off a building. During his time away, Nebula destroyed Xandar. Later, Ryder used the Nova Force power to reboot the Xandarian world mind, which proceeded to clone the dead Xandarians and the Nova Corps. Speaking of the Xandarian world mind, Nova uses this sentient to help maintain his mental stability. Without it, the full power of the Nova Force would cause Ryder to break down and go insane. Nova actually dated Gamora for a while, but then Nova died. During the Thanos Imperative, Nova sacrifices himself in the Cancerverse to keep Thanos from returning to Earth 616. It was all in vain, however, as eventually both Thanos and Nova return. Not to be confused with the other Nova, Sam Alexander, the Richard Rider version of the character has appeared in cartoons and video games. The Nova Corps themselves appeared in 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy, which means an MCU appearance by Old Bucket Helmet is all but on the horizon.
All right, everybody, joining us live now via Skype is a woman I think you've been waiting to see again for a while, and you can on CBS's new Training Day series, Thursday, starting February 2nd. Katrina Law is with us now. Katrina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Brandon.
All right, it's no secret that Comicbook.com has their questions about Nissa Al Ghul, but we'll get to that first. We have to talk about Training Day. This must be so cool for you to play this part of Detective Rebecca Lee under such an iconic title. Does getting this role mean that you get to hang out with Denzel Washington whenever you want?
I wish, but according to the storyline, if I were hanging out with Denzel, I'd be hanging out with his corpse, which I feel like would go into a different genre of television.
Right.
Not to say it won't happen.
Walking Dead crossover confirmed. You never know.
Maybe. You never know.
Right. But your Rebecca Lee character is a huge part of the team. She's basically the tech genius of the bunch. I've seen a couple episodes now, and I'm having a lot of fun watching it. But what can you tell us about your character before the show comes on?
So I play Detective Rebecca Lee, who is a detective in the SIS division of the LAPD. She is extremely loyal to Frank Rourke, who is played by the wonderful and amazing and very funny Bill Paxton. He basically saved her from human trafficking at the age of 9, and since then she's looked up to him as a hero, and eventually wanted to emulate his life and followed him into the LAPD, and now she is in his division, and she is ride or die for all the boys in the SIS.
Right, that's cool. You get to work with Bill Paxton. Can you talk a little bit about that? What is it like to be on set with someone like that?
So the first couple of days I was kind of geeking out and just trying to be like, oh yeah, it's Bill Paxton. He's just like a coworker, no big deal. Freaking out. So Bill is super cool. He comes in every morning and he just smiles and he says, "Good morning, breakfast lovers," and that's kind of how he starts the day. And it's just a really positive vibe. As you know from watching a couple of the episodes, he has a ton of work to do, but he gets it all done. He's professional, and as soon as we call cut, he is just joking and just laughing, and he just sets a great tone. So I couldn't have asked for a better leader on set.
That's really cool. We know that you are no stranger to action scenes. That's basically a requirement if you're going to exist on the set of Arrow. Since you're the tech person here, you're the brains here. Does that mean you still might get a chance at getting into some of the brawls or maybe some chases on Training Day?
Yes, very much so. I think the great thing about my character is that Rebecca Lee, even though she's on the computer a lot and doing all the tech savvy stuff, she's getting her hands dirty along with the boys and getting stuff done.
What's the weapon of choice for Rebecca?
A Kimber 1911.
Okay, cool. All right, now the popular question that the Arrow fans want to know. We got to switch over to DC for a second. When might we see Nissa and Talia together? Is there any word on that? And if we do, or we ever do, what do you think that relationship is going to be like and that interaction is going to be like between them?
I am not allowed to tell you anything under the threat of death from Mark Guggenheim. So there's that. But in my dream world, when I found out that they were casting Talia, I texted or I emailed Mark and I was just like, please let us have a sister showdown, because my inner nerve was just kind of exploding. Because if it's anything like the comics, I know that my character basically kills Talia 50 times and keeps dumping her into the Lazarus pit so she can bring her back, so she can get her onto her evil ways. I don't think that's going to happen in Arrow, the television series, but one can always hope. But if maybe not like a contentious relationship, then maybe one where we're like standing back to back shooting arrows together. I think that would be pretty cool.
That could be pretty cool. Some XXX stuff going on there. Do you think a return on Legends of Tomorrow might be more appropriate, since Sarah Lance is basically heading up that show now?
I think a Legends of Tomorrow appearance should be mandatory. That's what I'm thinking, because we need Sarah and Nyssa. We need the Nassara backstory of how they met on Lang Yu, and how she trained her, and basically how she found her on the streets, and what the introduction to Ra's al Ghul was like, and eventually how they fell in love. And I think people want to see that. I want to see that. So hopefully one day, again, fingers crossed. I have no idea, but that's the wish list.
We need more Nyssa. I think everybody agrees. Now, before I let you go, I do have to ask this. This is the real one everybody wants to know, and I mean, I'm not going to lie and say I don't. Who's the best kisser on Arrow?
Katie, all day. Not that Steven, not that I've ever kissed Steven, actually. Yeah, I've only made out with one person. Oh, I need to up my game a little bit.
I could have sworn there was a kiss with Steven somewhere.
I think it was implied, but I think
okay.
It should have been at the wedding, but then I probably would have tried stabbing him and killing him at the same time, and I think he would have vomited because he doesn't really like Nyssa anyway. So I think it would have been, I think by technical default, it would have been Katie, even if we had.
Oh, weddings, I'll tell you, I hate when swords and weddings cross.
Arranged marriages,
the worst. Anyway, thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us. It's always a blast talking to you, and Training Day is a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of it.
Awesome, thank you.
And everybody at home, Training Day airs Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Oh, and hey, before we toss it to the comment section to answer your questions, I want to remind everybody about yesterday's bet. Remember Charlie Ridgely bet us a XXX tattoo, $47 million. Guess what? It made $50 million. We have video evidence that he's going to do it. Guys, check this out. So, Charlie Ridgely.
What?
That bet, the comment section decided, and it's time for you to get a tattoo. Are you gonna own up?
I think you screwed me here, Brandon. But I'm a man of my word. So let's
XXX tattoo, comic book now. Long story short.
Oh!
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Ridgely.
We got it on camera.
Charlie Ridgely owes us a XXX tattoo. We're gonna work out the fine details. That's because of you in the comment section telling us,
Hey,
Charlie,
yeah.
you made a bet. You make a bed, you sleep in it, even if that bed has XXX tattoo sheets. All right.
God, I want it on his neck, like Vin Diesel.
I don't care where he gets it. He has his tattoo. We're gonna figure that out. It might happen here in the studio. It might happen at a tattoo shop. We're gonna figure that out. It's gonna happen live on Facebook one way or another. Charlie Ridgely, XXX tattoo.
We have so many questions.
Yes,
let's
turn
do
it
some
over.
questions, man. You guys have been great. Remember, you can keep on commenting here on Facebook. You can also ask us questions anytime you want, anytime at all. 2 o'clock in the morning. Hashtag CBNow.
1 p.m. Tatooine.
1 p.m. Tatooine. Hashtag CBNow on Twitter. Throw us your questions anytime. And let's go to a question from Twitter. Let's see. We've got Team Shazam here. Asks us, will I need counseling after Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2?
Oh, man. Look, I think if you're watching them all back to back, you're probably going to need a nap. That's like 9 hours worth of movies. Those are all going to be very long movies.
Those are going to be long movies.
I'm assuming this question means, are people going to die and are you going to cry? Yeah, I would say you're going to need counseling if you're a fan of the MCU. I think that those 3 movies specifically, obviously Avengers, but Thor Ragnarok especially, are going to shake the landscape of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a major way.
People are going to get hurt and people are going to die. And absolutely, as they love to say in the pages of Marvel Comics, the Marvel Universe will never be the same.
I feel like I hear that like at least once every 4 months.
Right.
There's some sort
but
of...
this is the first time really we're going to hear that for the films.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right, let's see. We've got a live question or two. Or 1,000 here on Facebook. Lucas Severson, one of our wonderful loyal viewers, asks, how big of a role do you think Ego is going to have in Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Want to say it together?
a planet-sized role.
Planetary-sized? Yeah, it's going to be huge. He's Peter Quill's father. I mean, it's going to be gigantic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a big role. I know that, but I'm interested to see how much this character actually borrows from Jason.
Right.
Because we saw the pop figure. He looks just like him.
Absolutely.
He looks just like Jason. I'm interested to see how much of it is borrowed from that comic book, Peter Quill's father. Versus the ego character in itself.
Fans who don't know, we're talking about two characters that it seems like are being kind of merged into one.
Right.
Ego is he's known as Ego the Living Planet. He is a literal planet, and if we don't see a mustachioed planet in this movie, I'm gonna be really mad.
Peter Quill's poor mother.
Then,
how does that?
Then Jason is the leader of a planet called Sparta,
right?
And the Spartois, and he is
definitely not Peter Quill's father in the movie,
right? But he is Peter Quill's father in the pages of Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
So, the big thing here is that James Gunn, the director and writer, said that. The relationships are the big focus in this movie, and specifically the relationship between Peter and his dad, Ego. So
I mean, it's kind of like, where were you when Mom died to start the first movie?
It's going to be a big one.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big one, Lucas. All right.
Are you talking to yourself?
No, the other Lucas, who shouldn't be confused with the other Lucas.
Right.
We got a lot of Lucases up in here. I like it.
All right. Sorry.
All right. Another great Twitter question. This one we had a little fun with. Nkateko asked, who do you think you could play in the MCU and the DCEU?
Wait.
Specifically asking Brandon, myself, Chris Killian, and Charlie Ridgely, our other
esteemed
co-hosts.
Can we talk about this picture for a second?
So that was an official mock-up.
What is that? Can we pull that back up?
Let's pull that up real quick. We've got
I am Nightwing.
Brandon is Nightwing.
Charlie is the Hulk. Chris Killian flying in as Nova.
Yep, and myself is Havoc
in the background.
Yep.
Who made that picture?
I don't know. Some really talented artist, very handsome.
Wow,
very handsome artist.
Anyway, I would. See, the thing is he wouldn't have been my pick. Nightwing wouldn't have been my pick if I could play a character.
Yeah.
I was assigned Nightwing by a wonderful picture.
Yeah.
But I would much rather. I want to be Nova. I would love to play Nova.
Yeah, but we get a lot that Charlie or that Chris should be Nova.
Move over, Chris.
We get a lot of
Move over. I was here first. I want to play Nova.
Sam
Alexander Nova.
I want to play Havoc. I mean, you're a little old for Sam Alexander Nova.
Whatever, dude. He's got to grow up.
I was actually genuinely upset when Lucas Till was cast as Havoc. Not to stick on the Lucas thing,
gosh.
But because it was like another Lucas gets the role. It's the only thing I love Havoc. Favorite character of all time.
Let's get one more question.
All right, let's get one more question in here. This is a good one from Bobby Markham over on Twitter. Asked us, which will be the highest grossing superhero movie of 2017? Hashtag GOTG, hashtag Spider-Man, hashtag Justice League, hashtag Ragnarok, hashtag Lego Batman movie, hashtag Wonder Woman.
I have a question. Is Scott Eastwood in any of those movies? That's my thing.
I don't think so.
Whichever one's Scott Eastwood. Hey, Scott Eastwood. There he is.
He's right there. And he's in our hearts. Always.
He's always in my heart. I love Scott. Great guy. We're old pals. No, it's not true. I've never met Scott Eastwood. One day it's going to happen. Which movie is going to be the highest grossing? I think it's an easy choice, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Although, second place, Justice League.
Yeah, I think, God, I don't know, man. Justice League could be the big surprise of the year. Obviously, November movies tend to do a little bit less than May or July releases tend to. You got to think about Spider-Man too. All three of those movies are in a very unique position. Spider-Man carries a lot of baggage.
Here's the thing: Spider-Man and Justice League. Spider-Man comes on the heels of being rebooted. How many Spider-Man movies have we seen? We've never seen a Justice League, so that puts Justice League ahead. But the disadvantage Justice League has is that it has the advantage of being the first time we've seen the Justice League, has the disadvantage of coming on the heels of poorly received films critically. I know we have our DC fans who are comic book fans, and they love those movies, and they'll defend them to the death. Yeah. And there are aspects of each of those movies that I loved. But until you're making movies that are universally loved by critics, fans, casual fans, and comic book fans, you're not going to have movies that are successes the size of Guardians of the Galaxy's first one. This is the sequel to the biggest surprise hit.
But here's the thing. Poorly received critically, but both those movies did great at the box office, especially globally. We're talking $800 million.
We're also talking the first on-screen appearance of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman together, and the first on-screen appearance of Deadshot, Harley Quinn, a new Joker. It had all those things going for them.
But we're also getting Wonder Woman before Justice League, and I feel like that movie, being the first one that Jeff Johns was heavily involved with, is going to give people a new idea of what the DCEU can really be.
Look, I think Justice League is going to be a ton of fun. What we saw on that set was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was very different from Batman vs. Superman while building on what that movie put in place. But I don't know if Justice League can outdo Guardians of the Galaxy at the box office. I think so many people are excited for Guardians. But that said, we're also way more months away from Justice League as well. So the hype train hasn't left the station there yet.
Very true.
But guys, that's all we have time for today. I would like to remind you one more time before we go that we are giving away a room on the Walker Stalker cruise. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to be there. Norman Reedus, that's right. You could party with Negan and Daryl all weekend long. I don't know if those two guys get along in real life. I don't know. It seems like Daryl and Negan would kind of butt heads. But anyway, all you have to do is send us a video, 10 seconds or less. Hold your phone sideways. Do it the long way. Do an impression of Negan, and then go to comicbook.com/page/submissions. And you might be featured on the show tomorrow, and you might be in our Final Four, which is open to voting as of Friday. And then we'll notify a winner on Monday. Yeah. Really exciting stuff. And if you want to talk more, guys, I see the comment section still rolling by. Hit us up on Twitter, at Lucas Siegel for all your Star Wars stuff, at Brandon Davis BD for whatever else there is left. But we'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
May the Force be with you.